The news out is that Andrew Whitfield has been fired as Deputy Minister of the Trade Industry. Now, the story behind this firing is kind of difficult to understand. News originally came out that Ramaphosa was due to reshuffle his cabinet, specifically because the Minister for Higher Education was a freaking moron. In fact, if you recall, I did a video where they asked her how she appointed people based on meritocracy, and she said, Google it. Now, the news story is that apparently, according to John Steenhuisen, when he was voting on the budget today, he drew allusion to why Andrew had been fired. And it would appear that the initial reasoning or rationale given by the president was because Andrew went abroad without seeking presidential approval. But we're not sure on that. Apparently, John was given 24 hours to speak to Andrew. But then Andrew got a firing letter within 3 hours, and there's a little bit of a kerfuffle on it. But there's a very interesting line at the end, and I think that this is probably more realistic in terms as to why Andrew was fired. And that is, in John's address, he says that Andrew was guilty of asking questions around the Lottery Commission. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Lottery Commission is going through a reappointment process following a previous appointment process that was subject to a shed load of fraud. And in typical fashion, they've had to fire the old fraudsters and get themselves some new fraudsters, because the news came out that the person who they were looking to hire as the provider for the Lottery Commission was connected to Paul Mashatile, Deputy President Paul Mashatile. And that's actually been in the news quite a bit. And so Paul's actually had a lot of egg on his face. So now it would appear that the person who raised that and basically tipped off News 24 and the media outlets of this was none other than Andrew. So it would appear, allegedly, that the reason that potentially Andrew has been fired is because he raised questions on potential fraud in Ramaphosa's cabinet. And I'm reminded that this happened before under Zuma, which led to state capture, which Ramaphosa avows and says he would never do that, even though you could legitimately make the claim that right now Ramaphosa is doing exactly what he accused Jacob Zuma of doing. But that's just my views. Do let me know what you think in the comments.